TNA Against all odds tomorrow, or depending on when you're watching this, on Friday the 6th of June. Is this a pay-per-view? I'm pretty sure TNA are having more pay-per-views than normal shows. They're only on once a week. I'm really confused. But I've got the 6 matches that have been announced. I don't think anything else has actually been announced. Maybe there will be on tonight's show, but obviously I want to try and get it out before then. So I'm going to give you the 6 matches of what I think is going to happen, and 2 more which could possibly happen. So, the first match, I've got it written down here so remember it, is Steve Maclin versus Mance Warner with Steph DeLander for the international title. Well, international championship. So, I believe Steve Maclin's only had 2 title defences, Eric Young and Matt Cardona. Now, with Mance Warner, obviously he's a bit of a weird character, and obviously they had that weird title that never existed, but the internet title or whatever it was called, I think. I don't see him winning this. I feel like because Steve Maclin is the international inaugural champion, or the inaugural international champion, it's very confusing. I don't see him losing this soon. Like, you want to make prestige to the title, so let him have it for a few months at least. Like, I know maybe been a few months now, but he's not had much defences with it, so let him build it up a bit more. So obviously that means he would have beaten Eric Young, Matt Cardona, Mance Warner, maybe a few more people. But I'm going to give it to Steve Maclin. Even though I think that Steph DeLander is going to try and get involved, I still think that Steve Maclin is going to retain his international title. Joe Hendry versus Frankie Kazarian. Now, Joe Hendry is no longer your TNA World Title holder, champion. I'll try that again. Joe Hendry is no longer your TNA World Champion. That's better. Or, okay, do we do it where it's Joe Hendry goes on a losing streak, so he loses to Randy Orton, to Trick Williams, to Frankie Kazarian? Or is this where he rebuilds himself? See? Okay, I'm going to say Joe Hendry's going to win it, but if Joe Hendry loses, I think he's going to keep losing for a while, and he's going to need to bring back his smile. He's going to get really annoyed. Well, how long is his contract for, though? It's less than a year now, isn't it? So he's still going to be in TNA for a while. I mean, will he be going over to WWE? But this one could go either way with how the storyline's playing out, but I'm going to have to go for Joe Hendry. So I think, okay, so if Frankie wins, then obviously Joe's going to be on a losing streak for a while. If Joe wins, it's going to be, I won't say a squash match, but I'm going to remind you of who I am, and that's what I'm going to go for. Joe Hendry winning in, not a squash match, but a power match, whatever it's called. I know what I mean. So, yeah. Then we've got Santino Marella versus Robert Stone for the TNA Director of Authority. Now, Robert Stone apparently is the sheriff, I think he says. I don't know. I think I just read that somewhere and I might be making it up. On NXT. So why do you have power in TNA, and why does Santino have to put his up? And I don't understand it at all. I want Santino to win, but Robert Stone's winning this, ain't he? It's, yeah. And even if he doesn't, I'm sure it's going to carry on the storyline of the exact same thing. So maybe Santino loses it and he has to keep wrestling. And yeah, it's going to be bad, but at least we'll be able to see why it's bad, and then can Santino earn it back. But either way, I'm really not interested in Robert Stone winning it. It'd be great to see him win, but I don't think he will. Somehow, some way, Robert Stone is going to win, and he's going to be the new TNA Director of Authority. Hopefully I'm wrong on that one. Next we have Masha Slamovich versus Lei Yingli for the TNA Knockouts Championship. So, Masha Slamovich confronted Lei Yingli, basically saying that she wanted her to have a match with her. I know what I mean. You know what I mean. We all know what we mean. It's all good. Which is very rare for a champion to challenge a challenger without there being some prompt. But I keep thinking that Masha's going to lose every single time I say this. So maybe if I pick Masha, she'll actually lose this time. I don't want her to, because she's been very dominant. But I do think this is going to be a very good match. But I'm going to give it to Masha Slamovich. She's basically proven how good she is. And obviously the new challenges are going to keep coming. But I'm going to give it to Masha Slamovich. Yeah. That's my pick. There's not really much else to say. It's just going to be a great match. They're both fun to watch. If the champion is challenging the challenger and the challenger wasn't the challenger at the time, then it shouldn't be a challenge. It's confusing, I know. Then we've got the Nemeth brothers of Nick and Ryan Nemeth, surprisingly, versus the Rascals of Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz for the TNA Tag Team Championships. I believe that's right. Yeah. The Rascals won a number one contenders match. That means that they're obviously the number one contenders. Kind of makes sense. But it's going to be a good match. But more than likely, we're going to see the Nemeth brothers retaining the titles. They haven't been champions that long. And where does it go from there? Like, I don't understand it. To me, the storyline can continue with Nick and Ryan obviously being the best brother tag team ever. And then, but the Rascals win. What then? Like, sorry. Yeah, they're going to win the titles. Don't get me wrong. I don't deny that, but I don't think it's going to be at TNA Against all odds. But then, do the Hardys get involved and did they help out the Rascals? Or did they try and help the Rascals, but then they don't? I don't know. It's confusing, isn't it? But either way, I can see Nick and Ryan Nemeth retaining the titles in some Weasley way again. Then we've got Trick Williams versus Elijah for the TNA World title. Trick Williams is obviously on NXT. He's on TNA as well, but he's part of the NXT roster. Elijah was at the NXT show. Trick Williams smashed his guitar up. It wasn't very nice. I mean, only he can smash his own guitar up. It makes sense. So obviously Elijah's trying to bring the title back to TNA. Trick's obviously trying to keep it away from TNA. With Trick just winning it, like I've said before in this video and probably previous videos, I don't see Trick losing it yet, especially not to Elijah. Now, that's nothing bad on Elijah. I just don't feel like enough has been built to this. Now, maybe we'll get, I don't know, like someone like, say, Joe Hendry going after the NXT title eventually, or somebody from TNA winning the NXT title. Then the TNA and NXT will have, like, you know, a match, and then obviously they swap titles over somehow, or they don't, and yeah. But either way, you don't have NXT win the TNA World title just to drop it back to TNA straight away afterwards. Like, what was the point? You expected something big to happen, something big's happened, and you do nothing with it. Yeah, no. Trick Williams is winning this. Maybe it will lead to something else. Maybe First Class will help him out again, but I don't think so, because they only helped Trick on NXT because they wanted to get back at Mike Santana. So, those are the 6 matches that are announced, but I still think maybe more could be announced. So, I'm going to give you 2 more of what could potentially happen. And I'm going to say we're going to get Mike Santana versus AJ Francis. We're supposed to get that at the previous pay-per-view, I believe, which is Under Siege. They're all merging into one, so please correct me if I'm wrong. Right. But instead we got Casey Navarro versus Mike Santana, because apparently AJ Francis was injured. Now, if we do get this match, Mike Santana's going to win it. He needs to get his revenge on AJ Francis, especially costing him the world title, the TNA world title, but it's still a world title, so we all know what I mean. But it looks like Casey Navarro's not really interested. He's not liking the fact that he sometimes gets a bit bullied or pushed to the side by AJ Francis, or are we all getting played here? So maybe we get Casey Navarro pretending he's going to help Mike Santana, but he doesn't. Kind of like they did in that number one contenders tag team match where they pretended to fight, but they just tried to pin each other, which wouldn't have made no sense. If AJ Francis wins this, it's because of Casey Navarro and obviously cheating, but I'm still going to give it to Mike Santana because I want to. Then another match which makes no sense, but I thought I'd just guess a prediction as well. Okay, because the Hardys are on the poster, so I'm guessing maybe the Hardys versus the System of Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards. This makes no sense, but let's just trust the System. But I don't like him, so let's go for the Hardys. No, I do like them, really. I just prefer the Hardys. And if they're on the poster, then kind of makes sense. None of this makes sense, but it makes sense. Those are the 6 matches. I'll run through them quickly, so remember my predictions. Steve Macklin is going to retain his international title against Mance Warner. Joe Hendry is going to defeat Frankie Kazarian. The Nemeth brothers are going to defeat the Rascals. Masha Slamovich is going to retain her TNA Knockouts title against Lei Ying Lee. Almost forgot. Trick Williams is going to retain the TNA World title against Elijah. And I forgot one match, which was Robert Stone is going to defeat Santino Marella. Now, if there is 2 more matches, Mike Santana is going to defeat AJ Francis, and the Hardys are going to defeat the System. I'm more confident on Mike Santana versus AJ Francis. If I had to pick out the two, maybe they're both wrong. But anyway, those are my predictions. Leave it down in the comments what you think is going to happen there. Do you think there's going to be any returns, any debuts, any shocks, any surprises? It's the same word, different words, but I don't know. Yeah. Let me know who you think is going to win each match, why they're going to win each match. That's a long message, really, isn't it? Or a long comment. Yeah. Do you think there's going to be any more matches? Do you think my 2 matches are going to be right? A lot of questions here. I'm going to end it here. Anyway, please like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching.